Hi everyone, my name is Courtney. I am Fiber Fox Studios, and today we are going to be working on this cute pattern right here. We are actually going to be doing the smaller version, or the smaller chart, I should say, in the chart set, which is this particular design right here. Down in the description, you will find a link to the Etsy store where you will find the chart set that includes chart 1, chart 2, and chart 3 for this design back here. So there's 3 design variations in that chart set. We're going to focus on this one today, and you can make this into a strap for a messenger bag, or of course you can use this as a trim, a border, or repeat this particular design over and over to make kind of like a zigzaggy chevron effect as you move up on a project. So there's lots of ways that you can use this. This is another one that will be great for headbands or for the cup koozies and those sorts of things, water bottle holders and all, because it is a small design. You don't have, 40 rows to work the pattern. So this will be an easy one for beginners, and it'll be useful for you more advanced people to use in different ways. And of course, as always, down in the description, I always link videos and playlists that you will find helpful. If you are new to Mosaic, I have a lot of stuff on the channel. I've been doing it for 3 years, so make sure you are checking out the playlist. There's a how-to playlist that takes you through a lot of those frequently asked questions, like what do I do with all these tails? And right here is an example. This is a double border. I do have a Mosaic double border here on the channel as a tutorial, but you of course could make just a solid double border using the same concept taught in that Mosaic border tutorial. And it is double and enclosed, meaning we work 2 parts of a border and then join it together to kind of sandwich our tails in. So as you can see, this one right here is going to be a mug rug for me, but you of course can imagine this as a blanket with just a solid border around it. Or of course you can use something like this, do that double border, and you will have a Mosaic double border. So we're going to jump into the tutorial. To get started, all you will need is just 2 colors of yarn. Any yarn size will work. Any crochet hook size can be used. Down in the description, I list everything that I recommend as far as hooks with which yarn sizes and that sort of thing. So you can find that down there in the description, along with the timestamps. They are very important to a lot of you, but please do remember, I hope that you are watching the entire video and working along with me, at least on your first go round. But if you do need to refer back to rows, I have those timestamps there so that you can jump to the row that you left off on and help you navigate through the tutorial. So let's grab your favorite yarn, your favorite crochet hook, and let's jump in and get started. To begin, you're going to use color A, and we're going to chain out in the pattern's multiple of 10 over and over as many times as you would like. And then if you are working flat, you are going to add 4 more chains to your chain count. If you are going to work in the round, you are just going to chain in the multiple of 10 over and over, and then you will be slip stitching to the first chain that you made to form a ring, and then begin working the repeats given in this video in that same stitch that you slip stitch into. You are maintaining your chain count of 10, evenly divisible by 10, the entire project. For those of us who are working flat, we add those 4 chains on, and that is our turning chain to start row 1, the traditional single crochet at the start of the row, the traditional single crochet at the end of the row, and then we need 1 more stitch to even out our final design here at the row end. So that is why we add the 4 chains to our chain count. We're now going to begin row 1. Pause the video if you are not ready. But for those who are, we are now going to move on to row number 1. And to do so, we need to skip this first chain from our hook and move here into the second, working completely in that stitch, doing our traditional single crochet. So you want to make sure you go into your stitch under the V and then single crochet just like normal from there. So we pull up a loop and then we grab and pull through those 2 loops that were on our hook. Now we're going to begin our repeat for row number 1. And our repeat is very simple. We are going to be working a back loop only single crochet in every stitch except for the last stitch of the row. So to do this, we work a single crochet just like normal, and it's our position that makes this mosaic. So we pick up this back loop, the one side of the stitch, and then single crochet just like normal from there. So you need to work one single crochet working in that back loop only all the way down the row until you have one stitch left. Once you have the one stitch left, I will be meeting back up with you to work that final stitch of the row. We are now here at the end of the row. We have one stitch left, and we're going to be working a traditional single crochet in that stitch. So that means we go completely in the stitch under the V, and this is how we end every single row. Your final stitch will always be a traditional single crochet in that stitch, and that is all you need to do. From here we can bind off, and this is how I do a knotted bind off. I chain up 2, then I clip my yarn and I cinch that down to form a knot. So we're going to do that real quick together. So I pull out that yarn tail through the top of the stitch. Now I'm going to grab the tail. I'm going to place my thumb and index right above those 2 chains, pull up on the tail as I push down with my thumb and index, and it forms this perfect little knot down here at the end of my row. Now I need to return to the first stitch in the row. We do not turn our work in mosaic. We just work on one side. So we are going to go back here to the beginning of the row, and this is where you need to pay close attention. When we started row 1, we had the turning chain. So we have to scoot that little side bump down out of our way and make sure that we do not mistake that as a stitch. This first full V that you see right here, that is our first stitch, and that's where we're going to insert our hook going into the complete stitch under the V. Now we need to grab color B, and we are going to be joining on color B and working row 2. So you grab your color B, and then we are going to add it to our hook, pull up that loop. Now we're going to grab tail and working yarn and chain 1. Allow your tail to fall. And we need to finish out this traditional single crochet by going back in to the same stitch. So we're right back there in the same first stitch. Now we just single crochet like normal from there. So we grab our yarn, pull up that loop. It will look like you have 3 loops on your hook since we grabbed tail and working yarn to do our chain 1. And you're going to grab and pull through all 3 of those little loops. So from here, you are going to begin the repeat for row number 2, which is exactly like row 1. We are going to be working a back loop only single crochet in each of our stitches, and then of course a traditional single crochet in the final stitch of the row. So from this point forward in the tutorial, I will refer to these as single crochets, and you will know that whenever you are working a repeat, all single crochets are always worked back loop only. So you may pause here and meet up with me for row 3 when you're ready. Row 3 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 3's repeat begins by working 4 double crochets, and I'll show you how you work all of your mosaic double crochets. So you are going to wrap your yarn just like normal, and then we identify the very next stitch, and you have to slide directly down, picking up this front loop that we left from doing back loop only single crochets. So now you're going to grab your yarn and pull up a loop. Now grab and pull through 2, grab and pull through 2. So it's a normal double crochet from there. It's just our placement that makes it mosaic. So we're doing overlay. So you're laying your stitch over the row to cover up to help form our shape. So we needed to do a total of 4 double crochets. So we've done 1. So now we need to wrap our yarn and make sure that we are identifying our next stitch again. If you are unsure of where your next stitch is, you can always fold your work back. And back here on the previous row, you'll see that each double crochet we work takes up 1 stitch back here on that row. So when you put it in place, we can easily tell that this is our next stitch. So we're going to work our second double crochet. Number 3. Number 4. Now we continue our repeat by working 3 single crochets. So again, make sure you have your placement correct. Check and make sure you're not accidentally about to work the first single crochet in the same stitch that is taken up by a double crochet. Once you do that, you'll throw everything off for this row and all your rows forward. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're checking your stitches. Now we continue with our single crochets. We need a total of 3. So here is number 1, 2, 3. And we'll end the repeat by working 3 double crochets. One, 2, and number 3. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap what we've done. Row number 3's repeat began with 4 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 3 double crochets. We're going to work our repeat together one more time. For those of you who are new, you're going to need this instruction. For everyone else, you should already know. You can move ahead to the next row whenever you're ready. They're all time-stamped down below. So now we're going to begin row 3's repeat again. This is how you continue to work down your row. The repeat begins with 4 double crochets. So we immediately begin working those. There's 1, 2, 3, and number 4. Three single crochets continues our repeat. 1, 2, 3, and we end the repeat by working 3 double crochets. Number 2, and number 3. So let's stop and take a look at our work. After I've completed the second round of the repeat, you can see right here in this section, we have a total of 7 double crochets, and that's correct. As you finish the repeat and start it again, you're meeting up with the work is meeting up, and it's evening out the design as you work down your row. So just trust me, do exactly what I am giving you as your repeat, and you'll be fine. The number one mistake people will make is because I started with 4 double crochets, their mind, even though they hear me saying 3 right here, their mind will make them put a 4th. And so they will run out of room at the end of the row, and they won't have enough space to finish out their final design. So they'll think that their count is off and like their starting chain, but that is not the problem. It is you're accidentally adding in an extra stitch, and it's usually here at the end of the row when we start with a number of stitches and our end does not perfectly match that. So it's not 4 and 4 here. That's when people will accidentally add in that stitch. So repeat for row 3, 4 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 3 double crochets. And if you count these stitches, it adds up to 10 stitches. So our multiple for the pattern is 10. Our repeat for our pattern is also a series of 10 stitches. So hopefully that'll help some of the new people that are watching. But you're going to continue to work down your row, doing the exact repeat, and then we will meet up when you have 2 stitches left, because you'll finish your last repeat, and then you will find at the end of your row you have 2 stitches left. And that's how all of our row ends are going to end up. So I will take you through working your row end in just a moment. So we are now here at the row end. I have 2 stitches left. You should have exactly 2 stitches as well. We are now going to work our row end together, and this is how you will be working all row ends. The end of every row, we have these 2 stitches left, and we work the second to last stitch right here by restarting our repeat for 1 stitch. So you work your repeat over and over down the row till you run out of space, basically. So in this case, for row number 3, our repeat begins with double crochets. So we would work a double crochet here in the second to last stitch. And then as we learned back on row 1, in the very last stitch of the row, we work a traditional single crochet going under that V. So completely in the stitch. And you are finished with your row. So as you work each of your rows, whatever your row's repeat begins with goes in the second to last stitch down here. And you'll notice that by restarting your repeat for 1 stitch, whatever you have done over here at the start of the row is now going to be the same here at the end of your row. So we began with 4 double crochets. And then by the way we work this pattern, at the end of the row, you are going to end up with a total of 4 double crochets so that we match beginning and end. So that is how you're going to be working that. Now you can bind off and meet up with me for row 4. Row 4 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 4's repeat begins with 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet. And we end our repeat with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. That ends our repeat, so we're going to recap it. Row 4's repeat began with 4 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and we end with 3 single crochets. So continue to work that exact set of stitches over and over on down your row. As a reminder, at the end of your row, you will have 2 stitches left. You will restart your repeat for 1 stitch and then traditional single crochet in the very last stitch of the row. Row 5 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 5's repeat begins with 2 double crochets, 1 and number 2. 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. And we will end the repeat by working 1 double crochet here into this next stitch. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap it. Row number 5's repeat began with 2 double crochets, 7 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So you are going to work that exact set of stitches on down your row, and then you will meet up with me for row 6. And as a reminder, end of the row, last 2 stitches, restart your repeat for the second to last stitch, traditional single crochet in the very last stitch. So we'll be back in just a moment. Row 6 begins now, and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row number 6 begins with 2 single crochets, 1, 2, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and we end the repeat with 1 single crochet right here in that next stitch. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap it. Row number 6 repeat began with 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet. We end with 1 single crochet. So really all you're doing when you get to this segment right here, where you have this space, where you get to this portion or part of the pattern, you are working the double crochet, single crochet combination a total of 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you do 2 single crochets and then 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet 4 times. Over and over all the way down your row. Whatever way is less confusing for you, there's a couple ways to look at it, but that is what you are doing. So you're going to keep working all the way down your row, this exact set of stitches, and meet up with me for row 7. Row 7 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 7's repeat begins with 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we will work 1 double crochet, and we will end the repeat by working 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That ends the repeat, so let's recap it. Row number 7's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 4 single crochets. So you're going to continue to work that exact set of stitches all the way down your row. And the cheater method for this row, all we're really doing is 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets over and over all the way down. So that's the cheater method for the row. And we'll meet up for row 8 whenever you're ready. Row number 8 begins now, and you are working in color B. Our repeat for row number 8 begins with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, and we end the repeat with 1 double crochet. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 8's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, and 1 double crochet ends that repeat. So you will start back over at the beginning of the repeat and continue to work that exact set of stitches, and then we will meet up for our final row, which is row number 9. Row number 9 begins now, and we are working in color A. Our repeat for row number 9 begins with 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. And we end our repeat by working 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that ends the repeat. Let's recap it. Row number 9's repeat began with 4 single crochets, 3 double crochets, and we end with 3 single crochets. So you're going to continue to work this exact set of stitches all the way down the row, and then we'll meet up one final time to talk about if you do want to keep repeating this design repeatedly to grow out a bigger project. We'll go over how you do that in just a moment. So after completing row number 9, you could rewind back in the same video to row 2 and work rows 2 through 9 over and over to have a stacked version of this. It'll kind of be like a chevron, but a little bit different. But that's how you would go about growing a project using only this design. Rows 2 through 9 are your repeat rows. I was thinking straps, separator patterns in between other designs, straps for like the messenger bag that I had just put the tutorial out for, the walkthrough on how to make any of the patterns into the messenger bag. This would be another option for a strap, not too wide, at least if you're using size 3 yarn and a 4mm hook. Didn't come out too wide. The other thing I was thinking is when you are doing some cup koozies, that sort of thing, you could definitely use this pattern if you had some really pretty like color change or variegated yarn, and you could just use this pattern at the bottom or at the very top of a cup koozie. And of course you could always do a double enclosed border, with this being your border design for the top side of the border. So there's lots of options, lots of ways to use it. I do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, if you could please make sure that you are giving the video a thumbs up. That greatly helps me out and keeps these videos coming out on the channel. And you, of course, can always comment down below. I always welcome comments, and extra points awarded for those who will share this video out. That also really helps to promote my work and keep the channel going. So thank you so much for your time for watching, and until next time, bye for now.